this is the last session.
Hey Trevor, you might get the light here. I'm sorry. Or that's actually going to be over there. I don't know where it's at.
So we're at the steps.
Yeah, it's on the steps, I think.
I was like spotlight.
So, how's everybody? Ready to wrap this up?
No.
I'm just excited.
Wait, what was the question? Ready to wrap it up?
Ready to have another session, but not ready to end it.
Yes. Thank you.
Well, here's the reason I asked that, because and all the guys that have spoken can tell you this, and ladies, if you know when you prepare stuff for small groups, if you're teaching something, you learn it a lot better than if you're just listening. And so in doing these lessons for you all, man, it has challenged me. I'm just not up here with the answers speaking to you guys like, yeah, I'm such a servant. Because I'm not. I mean, those of you that know me well, you know that I'm, selfish and, like Nick said, where's Nick? Where's Nick over there. I mean, we all have that egotistical part in us where we just don't want to put ourselves out there. We don't want to serve. But I'm going to close up this session with something that I think I need to hear, and I think each of y'all need to hear it too. And I could have stood up here and talked about a lot of stuff about the heart of a servant. I'm going to make this real simple. I'm going to make it real short. There's 5 things that I want y'all to examine about yourself to figure out if you have the heart of a servant. And this is not a test. This is not to make you feel bad. This is not to make you doubt yourself. It's simply to show you a way to go. If you're moving in that direction, great. If you're not, think about it. Number 1, how do you know if you have the heart of a servant? Real servants make themselves available. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 4. Go ahead and turn to that real quick. Let me read that to you. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 4. And I like the analogy he uses here because it really makes you think about this in terms other than what we would typically think about servitude. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 4. No soldier in active service entangles himself in the affairs of everyday life, so that he may please the one who enlisted him as a soldier. What the heck does that mean?
If you're a soldier, you're a soldier. And not something else.
Yeah, your battle commander calls you to the post. You better not be somewhere else, in the bar gambling or doing something else that's not soldier related. You want to please your commander-in-chief, you're there on the dot. You don't get tangled up in other stuff. Real servants make themselves available. Real servants do what's needed, even when it's inconvenient. Here's a good test. Are you available to God at any time? Can He mess up your plans without you becoming resentful? Being a servant means giving up the right to control your schedule and allowing God to interrupt it whenever He needs to. If you will remind yourself at the start of every day that you are God's servant, interruptions won't frustrate you as much because your agenda will be whatever God wants to bring into your life. Remember, all of your time, every moment, does not belong to you. It's God's. It is all right to have plans, but be ready and willing for God to shake them up. Because let me tell you, it's going to happen. Servants see interruptions as divine appointments for ministry and are happy for the opportunity to practice serving. Number 2, real servants pay attention to the needs of others. Remember the first session, taking the blinders off? Are you looking for opportunities to serve? Servants are always on the lookout for ways to help others and always sensitive to others' cries. When they see a need, they seize it that moment to meet it, just as the Bible commands us. Number 3, real servants do their best with what they have. Servants don't make excuses. They don't procrastinate. They don't wait for better circumstances to come their way. Servants never say, one of these days. The time's just not right for me. There will be a better time for me to serve. I'm a student. I'm way too busy. I'm out of college, starting a new job. I'm way too busy. I'm married. I have kids and a family. I'm way too busy. You do what needs to be done. God expects you to do what you can with what you have, wherever you are. Less than perfect service is a whole lot better than the best intentions. Man, oh man, I can tell you time and time again in my life where my intentions were noble and good, but they didn't stack up to a hill of beans because I never followed through. Good intentions don't mean anything unless you do something. One reason many people never serve is that they fear that they're not good enough to serve. They have believed the lie that serving God is only for superstars. I don't know why I said it. But it feels good to say it like say it.
That's how I say it.
It's fun to say it. Number 4. Real servants do every task with equal. Colossians chapter 3, verse 23. Whatever you do, do it with all your heart, as working for the Lord and not men. Colossians 3, 23. Huh?
Every task with what?
Can you repeat that, real servant?
Oh, real servants do every task with equal.
Every task
With equal.
With equal. This task is, even though it's not as important or as glorifying or as cool, you do that with all your heart, just like you would do something that's really super important.
Okay, so you perform those
So-
tasks equally.
Equally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Colossians.
You put everything into it.
3:23.
Whatever you do, real servants, do it with all their heart. The size of the task is irrelevant. The only issue is, does it need to be done? You will never arrive at the state in life where you're too important to help with menial tasks. God will never exempt you from the mundane. It's a vital part of your character building. I wish I could go back in time and have all of the opportunities to do the little service things that I looked at and I said to myself, nah, I'm going to wait for something bigger and better to come along. Because that task, it's too trivial. I'm not going to waste my time with it. There's a lot of those little things that add up. And I hate to think about all those opportunities that I passed up. Number 5. Real servants maintain a low profile. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 5 talks about putting on the apron of humility to serve one another. If you're recognized for the service you do, a real servant, you humbly accept that praise, but you don't dwell on it. You accept the recognition, but you don't allow that recognition to distract you from the work ahead.
What was that point? Sorry.
Real servants maintain a low profile. This gets back to the examples that we see why Jesus had such a problem with the Pharisees. They call them whitewashed walls. Yeah, their service, it looked great on the outside, but on the inside, it was nasty. They wanted to have all of this recognition. They wanted men to admire them. And they were getting their reward on earth. Y'all think for a second about the greatest thing that's ever been done for you. Besides Jesus Christ dying for you. Just stop and reflect back in your memories. Think about the greatest thing that has ever been done for you. Besides my wife agreeing to marry me,
Oh.
the greatest thing, and it's one of the most, to you guys, it may be just really insignificant and stupid. When I came back from Africa, I had a really weird accent. It sounded British and mixed in with the African type of dialect. And so when I started school in America, I was first grade. I'd been held back because I didn't understand English well enough. But I was in first grade, still small for my size, and this was in Michigan up north. And so at recess every day, the rest of the kids would circle around me. And they had this game called Spit on the Bread. And they would spit on me. And so I would go back in from recess covered with saliva. And there was one kid. Don't know whatever happened to this guy. His name was Lenny. And Lenny decided one day to take up for me. And he said, you know what, you're not going to do that. Lenny was a big kid. People respected him in this class. And because he stepped up, no one did that again. And so, weeks later, I went to Lenny and I said, why'd you do that? And he said, because what they were doing hurt my heart. Serving, that instinctual desire to take up, to serve, you know, it hits you in the heart. And that's where we've got to get. That's where we need to be, where we cannot just stand there and watch. It moves us to action. We're not picking and choosing, I don't think I want to do that. Being a true servant in the heart means that it pierces your heart, it strikes you. You've got to do something to help. I hope that the 3 sessions have been beneficial to you. I hope you're challenged. I hope that when you leave here, and it's always this, you know, we leave here and we have this kind of fired up, yeah, you know, we're gonna go out there and do it. Don't let that die. Throughout this year, if you come to the Student Center, you're going to be reminded about what being a servant means, about the transformation that can take place, not only in your own self, but the transformation that you will see amongst your friends, people that you don't know well, when you accept these 3 qualities. Having the eyes of the servant, looking around, trying to find opportunities to serve. Having the mind of a servant. You get in that mindset where you are looking for opportunities to serve, and your mind naturally goes to the desire to serve, which leads into having the heart of a servant. You are moved to action. You have that compassion that kicks in. That's what it's about. All right, we are going to have our last breakout session. Tonight, what I would like for you all to do, besides looking through the discussion questions to wrap this up, is to finalize whatever plans that you've been talking about for a service-oriented project. And we want to come back briefly after the discussion is over, and I would like for a spokesperson out of each group to share what your service project is going to be about. I think it would be beneficial to have the other groups hear what you guys have come up with.